Good morning. We are going to start every lesson with the calendar song and with the weather song, just like we do in class. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. The more we get together, the happier we are. Because your friends are my friends and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we are. Let me see your happy faces. Beautiful. All right. So can anybody tell me how many days there are in a week? You're right. There are 7 days. There are 7 days. There are 7 days. There are 7 days in a week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And yesterday was Monday. So what day of the week is today? Today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. All day long, all day long. Yesterday was Monday. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. All day long, all day long. Now I'm going to grab the calendar and we are going to see what number day it is today. But before we find the number day, can anybody remind me what month it is? That's right. This month is March. What month is it? March. What month is it? March. March, 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 March. What month is it? March. What month is it? March. March, 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 March. And now we're going to count and see what number date it is today. And I want you to count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and today is the 31st. So today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. One more time. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. Wonderful. And like always, after we do the calendar, we do the weather. What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? Is it sunny? Is it rainy? Can we go outside and play? What do you think? I want you to find a window somewhere in your house and look out of it. You're right. Today looks sunny. Today looks sunny. And today feels warm. So we are going to read our sentence, our weather sentence. And I almost forgot to tell you guys, it is a new season. When we left school before spring break, it was only winter. But now it's spring, so it's a brand new season. The season is spring. Today's weather is warm and sunny. Now we're going to read it one more time, and this time I want you to read it with me. The season is spring. Today's weather is warm and sunny. Great job. So now that we're done with the calendar and with the weather, we can get started on social studies. For social studies today, we're going to review what we were talking about before we left for school for spring break. And we're going to talk about how it might be a little bit different now. All right, So now I'm going to share my screen with you. We are going to take a look at our Studies Weekly Guide. It should look familiar because it's what we were talking about before we left for spring break. What do you see in the picture? You're right. There are lots of children there. What do you see behind the children? You see chairs. Now I want you to look in the bottom corner up front. What do the girls have in their hand? What is in front of them? You're right. There's pencils. They have pencils in their hand. And they have books and binders and notebooks on their desk. Where do you think they are? At school. You're right. So this title says Rights and Responsibilities. Americans believe that everyone has rights. Americans believe that everyone has responsibilities. What are your rights? What are your responsibilities? At school, you have the right to learn. You have the responsibility to listen and do your best. At school, you have the right to be safe. You have the responsibility to follow the rules and not hurt others. At home, you have the right to have some fun. You have the responsibility to do your chores. At home, you have the right to be safe. You have the responsibility to be careful and follow the rules. Remember that a right is something that you can claim. It's something that you deserve. So now I want to talk about some of your rights. For example, you have the right to be safe at home and at school. You have the right to learn. You have the right to have your own opinion, to think what you want to think about things. That's your right. You deserve that. You also have responsibilities. For example, when we were in school, it was your responsibility to pay attention, to learn, and to listen to what we were talking about. But now things are a little bit different. Your responsibilities may have changed a little bit because right now we're not at school. Instead, you're doing school at home. So maybe some of your responsibilities have changed a little bit. In our morning session this morning, some of our friends shared that now one of their new responsibilities is to finish their schoolwork before they get to go play or go outside or play games or watch TV or do things like that. So I want you to take a second and think about how your responsibilities may have changed. Maybe your parents ask you to do a certain amount of assignments. Maybe the deal is that you have to watch this video before you can go play. So I want you to think about that. All right, moving on. Do you know the golden rule? The golden rule says to treat others the way you want to be treated. In this picture, do you think the little girl is treating her friend the way that she wants to be treated? No, she's not being very kind. It looks like she's hurting her friend. I want you to draw a picture of a time that you did follow the golden rule. So for example, if you used manners when asking for something, then that's following the golden rule. Or if you share your materials or your toys with somebody, like giving them your pencil or sharing your Legos. That's following the golden rule. You're treating that other person how you want to be treated. So now, hopefully everyone has a paper and a writing utensil in front of them. I want you to now draw a picture of a time that you followed the golden rule. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that. As you finish up your drawing, I'm going to share what some of the children in the morning class drew. So one of our friends drew themselves taking the trash out for their parents. They did one of the chores for their parents. So they were following the golden rule. They did something for their parents because they know that their parents are going to do something nice for them. Another friend drew a picture of them sharing their toys with their sister. They shared their toys with their sister because they like it when their sister shares toys with them. So they were following the golden rule. They were treating others the way that they like to be treated. As you finish your drawing, I encourage you to send me a picture. You could send it to me through EdNetwork, your student account on EdNetwork, or you could ask your parents to send it to me through Dojo, whatever is more convenient. And as you finish that up, we are going to start English Language Arts. All right, now we're going to get started on English Language Arts. I have a book, I have a book, I have a book, I have a book, and my book has a front cover, and my book has a back cover, and my book has a spine. And I know that the spine holds the pages together. On the front cover, my book has a title, and I know that a title is the name of the book. We're going to count and see how many words are in our title. Remember that a word is a group of letters separated by a space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This title has 5 words. The book says that it's by Renee Linez. So who is Renee Linez? You're right. Renee is the author. And what does the author do? That's right. The author writes the words. The author writes the words. Hi-ho-a-dairy-o. The author writes the words. And the book says it's illustrated by Angela Dominguez. Who is Angela Dominguez? That's right. She's the illustrator. And what does an illustrator do? An illustrator draws the pictures. The illustrator draws the pictures. The illustrator draws the pictures. Hi-ho-a-dairy-o. The illustrator draws the pictures. Wonderful. Now, this book's title is Anna Goes to Washington, D.C. This book is an informational text. An informational text tells us about real places and real things. So, let's reread the title. Anna Goes to Washington, D.C. Do you think Washington, D.C. is a real place? Remember, informational texts talk about real places and real things. So yes, Washington, D.C. is a real place. What do you see on the cover? See a picture of a family and a building. What color is that building? Is that building big or is it small? Keep this in mind as we read. Remember, the first page is called the table of contents. A table of contents tells you what different sections of the book are on. We are trying to read the book Anna Goes to Washington, D.C. So what page do we need to go to? You're right, page 4. Remember, the next page is the title page. The title page tells you the name of the book, and it does not have a page number. We are in Washington, D.C. It is the capital of the United States, said Anna to Mama and her little sister Sarah. Anna ran and hugged her Tia Louise and said, I cannot wait to visit all the historic places. Is Washington, D.C. a real place? Let's reread to find out. Remember, good readers reread to figure things out. We are in Washington, D.C. It is the capital of the United States. It is a real place, and it's the capital city of our country, the United States of America. The next morning, Anna and Sarah were holding a large map. Look, Sarah, we will visit all these places. Tia Louisa and Mama waved American flags. They gave flags to Anna and Sarah. Anna opened the front door and said, ready, set, let's go. This is the National Mall, Tia Louisa said. I don't see any stores. There are no stores here. Sarah turned around and around, and finally she said, I get it. Instead of stores, this mall has historic buildings. Look at the picture. Are there a little bit of buildings or a lot of buildings? Think about a mall. In a mall, is there a little bit of stores or a lot of stores? You're right, a lot of stores, just like this picture has a lot of buildings. That must be why this is called a national mall. What is this tall building? Asked Anna. It looks like a giant number 1, Sarah said. This is the Washington Monument, Tia Louisa said. It was built to honor the first president or leader of the United States, George Washington. Mama opened her purse. Look, his face is on the dollar bill and the quarter, Anna cried. Who is this tall man sitting on that big chair? Anna asked. He is Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. He ended slavery and helped keep the United States together, Tia Louisa said. He's also on the pennies that Sarah and I put inside our piggy banks, Anna said. Who lives in this beautiful house? Anna asked. The President of the United States lives in the White House, Tia Louisa said. Come on. Oh, no. Can we knock and say hello? Anna and Sarah asked. The president is a busy man, Tia Louisa said. But I have tickets to get inside. Yes, said everyone. This building is bigger than my whole school, Anna said. It is the Capitol building. They make laws here, Tia Louisa said. Are laws like school rules? Anna asked. Tia Louisa and Mama nodded. We need to follow rules, or we will get in trouble, Anna said to Sarah. Look, there are also statues sitting on chairs here, Anna pointed at them. This is the Supreme Court, Tia Louisa said. When people do not agree, the Supreme Court decides what is fair. The Supreme Court is like a teacher. Teachers talk to children when they argue, Anna said. Welcome to the Library of Congress, Tia Louisa said. There are so many beautiful books here, said Anna. I love to read books to Sarah. Almost all of the books published in the United States are here, Tia Louisa said. I would love to read them all one day, Anna cried. Tia Louisa and Mama smiled. They went back to the National Mall and walked across Independence Avenue. Look, I know the man in the statue, Anna said. He is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and he had a dream for everyone to be treated fairly. This is his memorial, Tia Louisa said. I will work for my dreams too, Anna said. Anna and her family walked among the flowering cherry trees. Look at the beautiful cherry blossoms, Anna said. These trees are a gift from Japan to celebrate the friendship between our two countries, Tia Louisa said. They sat down and watched the paddle boats go by. Anna hugged Tia Louisa and said, Thank you for this wonderful day. I will never forget it. In this story, we learned all about different national monuments that can be found in the capital city of Washington, D.C. Anna and her family, with her aunt and her mom, went on a tour of the city and saw lots of important buildings. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the different important buildings they saw. When we're done talking, I want you to draw a picture of your favorite one on the same picture that you drew a picture of the golden rule on. You can draw it underneath, or you could draw it on the other side. When you're done, have your parents send me a picture. This was one of the first buildings that Anna and Sarah saw. This is the one that they said looks like the number 1. This is called the Washington Monument. It honors George Washington, the first president of the United States of America. This one is the monument that's in honor of our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. This one is called the Lincoln Memorial. Lincoln helped to end slavery. And you can find his face on a penny. The next monument that we're going to look at is where the president lives, and it was on the front cover of our book. It is called the White House. It is a big building. You can find it in the capital of Washington, D.C. And our last picture is in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is his memorial. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that everybody would be treated fairly. Now I want you to draw a picture of your favorite monument that we learned about today. Remember, all of the monuments were found in the National Mall in Washington, D.C. As you draw your picture, we're going to take a picture walk back through our book. On the front cover is the White House. That house is where the president lives. This was a map that Anna and Sarah were looking at that showed where all the different monuments were. This area was called the National Mall. Unlike most malls, this mall did not have stores. Instead, had different important buildings. This is the Washington Monument. It was built in honor of George Washington. George Washington was the first president of the United States, and you can find him on a dollar bill and a quarter. This was built in honor of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president, and he helped end slavery. You can find his picture on a penny. Just like we saw on the cover, this is the White House. It is where the current president lives. This building is called the Capitol Building. Inside, the people work on developing laws, which are like rules that we have to follow. This building is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is filled with judges that get to decide what's fair. This was the Library of Congress. There were tons and tons and tons of books inside. And last but not least, we saw the memorial for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. When you're done with your picture, please make sure that your parents send it to me, either through Ed Network or through Dojo. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.